Today I'm working on a CB750 here. It's the SC version, so it's a Nighthawk. Got 4 carb bank on it. Very big pain in the butt. I'm gonna show you guys what I do to make it as easy as possible and as painless and take as less time. So you got the air box, you got the 4 carb bank. Gonna want a little bit of PB blaster, just whatever you need, so screwdrivers, whatever it takes for your clamps or for your whatever. So for starters, go ahead and put the air box in there and just get it all set up. First, go ahead and put the air box in there. Just gonna slide that puppy in, run the cable down, or wherever you prefer it. Just cable that away. On the air box, the important thing that I do is I take the air filter piece that goes on to the around the carb there, and I push it inside so that it's easier to fit the carbs in there. And then after I put the carbs in the header, I take the boots and I put them over the clamp there, little flange. But the easiest way to do is take the PB blaster and you give the edge of the carb here a little spritz, and then make sure you have all your clamps all hooked up, or not your clamps, but your cables all hooked up already. Easiest way to have it already. So you want to be more careful so you don't break your clamps or bend them. That'll make them hard to install later, but they're pretty soft, so you can just kind of maneuver them back on and get them all soft later. I put a chalk on the wheel, so then it's a little bit easier, so the bike doesn't want to move, because on this particular model the stand will kick out if you push the bike forward. So I have that on there, so then when I push hard against these, they go in a little bit easier. Move you guys a little closer here as I work on this part. Get in, straddle your body on top of the bike here. Make sure your clamps, this part's super important, make sure your clamps are completely lucid, almost as loose as they can go without popping out of this part, unless you have new boots or newer clamps, of course. But these are original and they're pretty old, but they're still in good shape. So take them, make sure your carbs are downward at first, and then you push up, and then up and down, and just kind of work them in, and you'll feel them pop into they have a little lip in there that goes all the way around. You'll feel it pop in there. And once you have that, just kind of wiggle them and make sure they're in. These are in. I've done this a few times a day, so they're going on a little easier. So then you'll take and start working your clamps around. So I'm going to take my screwdriver here. Start on the other side. And once you do both sides, go ahead and you can start on the middle cylinders. Just if you start in the middle and you go out, sometimes it'll want to kick the ends of the boots out, so you don't want to do that. Sometimes it doesn't, but I've had it happen a couple times. So then you go to the middle one. Once you do the outsides, make sure they're on the actual right area before you put them on, of course. The reason you want to have the clamps completely unloosened is because when you're trying to put those carbs in there, they're going to stretch that boot, and when they stretch that boot, if it's not loosened enough, it's not going to want to stretch and fit in there, so it'll give you a hard time. So just make it as easy as possible for you and unloosen it as much as you can. Put these on backwards. These boots on the airbox are new, so they're a little stiff still. Well, they're not as near as bad as they were for sure, but still not awesome. Oh, it seems pretty well lined up. Sometimes you have to take the carbs off again and go back in there and remove them once more to kind of get the airbox to line up with everything, but sometimes you don't. So usually I'll start with the right side because it'll want to align the box correct. And make sure there's nothing in the way back behind. That'll give you a hard time sometimes. So I'm going to start on the right side and work my way this way. Some points I'll even have to go back and start from the middle. Start pulling the boot out just a tiny bit, so then once you have it on there, if you pull it out just enough, it'll snap all the way around. And if you struggle with it, take your flathead, start pushing it back in there. Somehow managed to maneuver my clamp off there. Pull it back right there, slide that pup back on. So right now I have the first one on, and you can see how they're going to try to align once you put the first one on there. And then the two middle ones will have dots that you'll want to line up on, so like they'll have one on the top and one on the bottom, so just try and line those up straight up and down if you can. So pull it off, start the middle ones. Right? Okay. So for those who don't know what I'm looking at here, this is the little nipple I'm talking about there. If you look, you can see that black tab right there. You want those to go up and down because those just help align it how they like to with the spec. If you don't have those, it's not as big of a deal sometimes. Just make sure you get it lined up right. So while you're trying to put them on, if you can, as you stretch it out and try to get it set around the box, just put your clamp back over the boot as far as you can so you don't worry about it falling out. I decided not to do that for some reason, and now I'm paying the price. Okay, got it now. Light on there, I'm having a good time. You want to make sure it's on all the way. Take your light, look down in there, look around the bottoms, make sure everything looks good. Around the sides, look good. clamps on, everything's on right now. It's 2 down, halfway. Keep going. Take your light, make sure it's not in your face so you won't see. It'll help you too, take everything you can out of your way so you can see all the nipples, everything is hanging around there. Just take it all out. I've noticed with a bigger flathead it helps, so I'm going to go grab me a bigger one. This is what I switched from. I had this puppy, and I switched to one. It's about double, almost triple the size of it, so a little more leverage helps a lot. You're not going to hurt these boots, but don't try to. So, okay, look good on that one. So now we have one left, and then we'll squeeze them on there. Last ones, the ones on the ends are pretty thick and pretty hard, so they are the hardest one to put on typically. You can almost put these all on quick. Maneuver the edge down around. This is what a bigger screwdriver is nice for too, or even a pick. If you can take a little pick and push it down in there and just slide it around the whole deal. It's got a little gap in there. So it looks like my carbs might need to be rotated up just a little bit as I try to put them on. Man, these are interesting. Go. Man, pretty strong. So now that's on all the way around. Shove that puppy back on. Sometimes you'll have to work one on at a time, so it can be a big deal a lot of the times. That's why I like to start from the right side. Get it on. So I need to take this honka, put it on there, push it all the way to the other side, hope it opens. Like that. So if you have the circle on it, if you shove the screwdriver on the outside of it like that, and then push downward and roll it as you push, it helps it want to fit on there. Sometimes it just is real stubborn. Right now those two are on and they're flush. This one is not quite fitting on, so it's going to struggle to get this one on as well, because it should be able to slant downward and just fit right on, but it's being kind of annoying currently. So I'm going to do that thing I was talking about just a minute ago. You shove the screwdriver on through it, go to the other side and you pull it off, slip your screwdriver through it, push down on the box, and turn your screwdriver until it goes out. Stuck on something. We're just trying to get that lip to get unstuck around there. It can be a real pain in the butt though. Top one's on, push downward. There we go. Now we got it. shove this guy on there. Let's put a little pressure on it still, just make sure it holds it from falling off. Work your screwdriver all the way around it. Get it to open up a little bit. Push downward, work it on. Other one's hanging off just a tiny bit. There we go. That one's on. This side's on, that side's on. There we go. See, look, that puppy's on. Those are on all the way, right there, right there, right there, right there. So then I'll slowly work these on, and as you get these on, you'll push the box a little bit. It'll just kind of seat them on there. While you do that, it'll hold them on a little bit better. And then you're good to go. You tighten these down, work the same way, outside, outside, inside, inside. And that's pretty well it.